Shabbat Shalom. A few more words on parasha Beha'alotecha before the beginning of Shabbos. And the mixed multitude that was among them felt a craving. And the children of Israel wept and said, "If only we had meat to eat." It's recorded in Numbers chapter 11, verse 4. This is a perfect example of how a smaller component of a population can influence, in this case, not for the good, the greater whole. The Erev Rav, mixed multitude that accompanied Bnei Israel out of Egypt, instigated a general complaint. According to Chizkuni, this occurred within the first 3 days after they had traveled out from Mount Sinai, as if the Kedusha, the holiness that they had acquired at Sinai, had begun to wear off already. God forbid. And Rashi comments that, is this really so, that they did not have meat to eat? And he makes a reference to the passage in the Torah concerning the fact that Torah records they did have meat, as mentioned in Exodus 12:38. A mixed multitude went up with them in flocks and herds. So what is the nature of their complaint? And Rashi says that actually it was simply that they were looking for a pretext. What kind of pretext? As mentioned in Sifrei Bamidbar 86, they're only seeking a pretext to abandon the Lord. And so how is it so that the people would seek a pretext to abandon the Lord, but really it was the Erev multitude, the Erev Rav, the mixed multitude, who did not have a sincere attachment to Hashem. It was they who are seeking a pretext to abandon him, as implied by the next verse. They said, "Remember the fish that we used to eat free in Egypt, the cucumbers, the melons, the leeks, the onions, and the garlic." And so this contagion of the Erev Rav infected, so to speak, the Israelites, and they too were implying they wanted to go back to Egypt, which makes no sense at all. And we know that God has an attachment and faithfulness towards his people, and that despite the instigation of the Erev Rav and attempting the children of Israel to also abandon Hashem with their complaints, it cannot be so that Hashem would permit us to abandon him. Of course, we have free will, but it is through his faithfulness towards us, his commitment towards us, that compels us to keep returning to him, whether as a corporate whole, all of Israel, Kala Israel, or on an individual basis in our own lives. Shabbat Shalom.